All right. So are you ready to get into some seriously intense geopolitics?
Always.
Well, today we're diving into this speech by Vladimir Putin
Right.
that has honestly been kind of sending ripples across the globe.
Yeah.
But specifically, we're zeroing in on the part about Russia's new hypersonic missile system.
Uh-huh.
It's pretty fascinating. I mean, look at how he's basically leveraging this tech
Right.
to send a very pointed message.
Hmm.
And I think it raises some big questions about where this whole conflict could be going.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the thing that jumps out to me right away
Yeah.
is the weapon that he chose to emphasize.
Okay.
Because hypersonic missiles, well, they're just a whole different ballgame. I mean,
I've heard that, yeah.
we're talking about speeds of over Mach 5,
Wow.
which basically makes them almost impossible to track. They're
Yeah.
pretty much impossible to intercept with like any current technology we have.
Oh, wow.
So this isn't just like a little incremental upgrade.
Right.
You know, it's like it's a huge jump in
And-
capability.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know, he even mentions testing this thing called the Oreshnik missile.
Right.
And he says it was tested on a target in Dnipropetrovsk in Ukraine.
Yeah.
And I was reading a little bit about this city, and apparently it has a long history
Oh, yeah.
that's connected to Ukraine's military-industrial complex.
Right.
So what's the significance of him picking that location, do you think?
Well, you know, Dnipropetrovsk was actually like a key city
Okay.
for Soviet tank production during World War II.
Hmm.
And even today, it's still got these factories there that are super vital
Oh.
for Ukraine's defense.
Okay.
So, you know, Putin hitting that target, it's more than just a military test.
Right.
It's like a symbolic move, you
Ooh.
know?
Oh, I see.
It's almost like he's trying to say, hey, I can cripple you for the long haul.
Yeah. That is a chilling thought. And then he's got this other line about how future targets
Right.
are going to be determined by threats to the security of the Russian Federation. What do you make of that statement?
Well, it's classic strategic ambiguity.
Okay.
He's leaving it open-ended on purpose, which
Mhm.
honestly can be just as effective as just coming right out with a threat
Right.
because he keeps everyone guessing.
Yeah.
He can escalate. He can de-escalate as he sees fit, you know? It's like
Right.
Putin's playing this really high-stakes poker game.
Yeah. And that ambiguity is kind of what makes it so unsettling, I think.
Yeah,
Then he goes even further,
he does.
talking about using these weapons against any country that allows its territory to be used against Russia.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just sounds like such a direct message.
Right, to NATO.
Yeah, to NATO countries. So is this a genuine threat of escalation, or is it a bluff?
I mean, that is the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's impossible to know what he's really thinking.
Right.
But this rhetoric, it's definitely meant to deter NATO from getting any further involved.
I see.
You know, he's raising the specter of these hypersonic strikes,
Yeah.
trying to sow doubt, maybe even fracture the alliance that's supporting Ukraine.
Right.
It's a risky strategy, but there's a big payoff if it works.
It's almost like this kind of echo of the Cold War, you know,
Yeah.
using these veiled threats,
Yeah.
keeping everyone on edge.
Right.
It also makes me wonder, is this for a domestic audience as well?
Oh, yeah.
You know, trying to project this image of strength.
Absolutely. Because in authoritarian regimes,
Yeah.
maintaining that image of power, I mean, it's essential.
Right.
So yeah, this speech, I mean, it's aimed at both audiences, at home and abroad.
Right. So we've got this new weapon. We've got these veiled threats.
Uh-huh.
And we've got a whole lot of uncertainty. It feels like we're like entering this whole new era of great power competition with this hypersonic technology right at the center of it all.
Absolutely. And you know, the Oreshnik, this is just one example
Wow.
of how fast this arms race is accelerating. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
If these weapons become more common, it could completely destabilize the whole global balance of power.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
we might be heading towards a future where even a tiny little miscalculation
Right.
could lead to just devastating consequences.
It's a sobering thought for sure. Well, this deep dive into Putin's speech has definitely given me, and I hope you listening as well,
right.
a lot to think about.
A lot to think
I mean,
about.
this technology is evolving so rapidly.
Yeah.
The stakes are incredibly high, and the path forward is anything but clear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me,
Always a pleasure.
and we'll see you next time for another deep dive.
Looking forward to it.